Um, nice. I spelled your name right too. This is perfect. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 134 of Peace Talk. You know what it is, what it do. This is the amazing interview podcast show where we bring on live very awesome personalities, awesome people. And today is no different. Today, we have a guest that I think many of you in the live chat may be familiar with. And if not, you about to be. What it do, what it is. How you doing, Nicole?
What up? Yeah, so I'm fucking excited. And I got something to tell you that I just want to get your opinion on.
Oh, so, right off the bat. Right off the bat. Word. Let's get it.
So interestingly enough, so yeah, I've been here for 5 years. I've been here for a while watching you. I've learned like a lot of my astrology through you, through the Leo King, like Astrology, a bunch of other people. So I've been around.
That's what's up.
And funny thing is, I've been practicing my telepathy with you for probably like 5 years. So last week it was my birthday, and when you shouted me out in the chat, it was actually like, so like for the last 5 years, I've basically been telepathically telling you like, all right, when it's really time, like shout me out and tell me that we're gonna do chat. And I have never hit you up before this in 5 years. Like of like just waiting, but also like low key, I wasn't really ready, so it was like a super synchronicity.
Oh my god!
The last few months, it's been crazy.
Wow. and that, okay. Everything you said is very profound to me because you just helped me understand how telepathy even works right now.
Mm-hmm.
Which I do believe is an air sign thing, especially a Libra thing. So that's gangster. I'm gonna just say right off the bat, that's gangster. You're like, yeah, I've basically been training you telepathically to set this up, you know. That's what's up. That might be the most Libra thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But yeah, I didn't want to like ruin that surprise, but like, for those who don't know, what is your sun, moon, and rise?
So my sun is Libra, my moon is Aquarius, and my rising is Sagittarius. So air game all the way, but also, you know, a little bit of fire. And my Mercury's in Scorpio, so now with this Scorpio season, it's like tomorrow it's gonna be like aligned. So interesting times. And I'm 0 degree Sag rising, so.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah. My first impression when I saw you was like, oh, it's just the aesthetic. Y'all kill me with the aesthetic. It's just mad like balanced. And so I was like, damn. Okay, word.
That's what's up. Goes on that next level because the Virgo, my Venus and Virgo getting the upgrade now too. So I've been literally getting hit by everything because my Mars is in Libra, opposing Chiron and Mars. And I think your Mars is in Libra. I mean, your Mars is in Aries, right? Or Taurus?
Aries. It's about to progress into Taurus, though.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Right. Yeah. I'm always surprised how like the fire energy in people like y'all be wearing red. Like it comes out. Like you represent it. I love it. It's awesome. It's amazing.
Not even a coincidence. I mean, this was gifted too from a Leo friend, so like I got the red in the background from the other fire people in my life.
Y'all just have a red party. Yeah. It was a fire sign who created the Bloods. I already know it. That'd be crazy.
Straight up.
A water sign probably created the Crips, and that's actually ironic because never mind. I'm not even gonna say that. But are you? Where are you at? Are you in the West Coast?
Nah, I'm in New York. So I'm in New York.
East Coast.
Yeah, born and raised Queens, and which I know you were. Yeah, very interesting shit. Like very interesting story of just being in New York this whole time, and then finding out that you were born technically in New York, and then went to Jersey, right? And then like
right,
the whole thing, yeah, which is crazy.
I was born in Phoenix, but I mean, I basically lived in New York.
Okay, got you, yeah. So Yeah, born and raised in Queens. And now what, like Dolo just came like 2 days ago, and I'm hype at that too.
Yeah, he lives in New York now, right?
He straight up showed up. He's in Central Park right now. I'm live.
That's crazy. Wow. That's what's up.
Amazing timing for all of y'all to just be like showing up now. And
Yeah,
I don't know. A lot of divine masculine and a lot of divine feminine work. Like
right.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's very wild.
Yeah.
And wow. And I mean, yeah, you totally got your moon in Aqua. I'm not gonna like, yeah. Oh, go ahead. What would you say?
Also with Saturn at 0 degrees. So like I'm 29 now. I'm just entering the whole Saturn return wave. So here we are. This is why it's so crazy timing for everything. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about the most too, just divine timing and like knowing, like even for me as a Aqua moon, and I know that your North node is there, right? Yeah. So like even getting that whole download this whole time of understanding like how you as a projector take in everybody's wishes, right? Even down to like the tune-ups and of what you do, right? Whenever you do that, I was explaining this to Meta, 12th house, and I was telling her how the reason why when we do our own ritual work at home, it's so much more like the consequences are more potent is because when you do it, because you have that projector, you get to take in the consequences and like
all the karma.
Yeah, all of the karma. Like, so it feels more at ease and like easier for people to be a part of it and like get that manifestation work done. But I've been here for years seeing it like come true. So if you ever needed a confirmation, that's what it is.
Thank you. I've never heard it described very like practically, but also like in high understanding.
Yeah.
What is it like to walk amongst mere mortals as a clear alien? Because we know you're not from here.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
Right. That's
Yeah, and also I have Chiron and Leo, right, in like the 9th house. So like my whole life was isolation from that, and I didn't have. So I was only able to step into my astrological learning and spiritual learning the last 5 years. And I always tell people this because like if I was able to do this in high school, I first of all wouldn't have any friends. I wouldn't have. I mean, I guess I'm a Libra, right? Libra Mars, like 11th house. I'm still gonna have friends, but either way, I would have been way much like of an asshole. I would have just been like, "Fuck all of y'all, you're all dumb." Like I can't.
Oh, yo, straight up.
And it was so I didn't have no guides. None of my family was really there as like a overarching like figure of either spiritual awareness or even any awareness. Like I had North Node and Capricorn, so no one was there to teach me business. No one was there to tell me that like I can do this art thing. But somehow I found my way to art, and that's what I guess made me feel like a normal alien. And then when I found out about like The Secret, that came out when I was like early high school, and that gave me my first language. So I started using those terms because I really felt like, oh shit, this is really what I'm doing out here. Because I was talking to aliens from a young ass age, like young, like my dad wasn't around, and like it was all these other forces that were really telling me like, oh, don't worry about it. Everyone on the planet has these problems, it's not your fault, it's theirs, which is like crazy things to process as a child, even down to like God. I used to argue with my sisters and like my family about God, and they'd be like, oh, one day you're gonna understand. And I was like, listen, like one day you're gonna understand. Like I can't do this. So it was a lot.
Word to Leia, spoken like a true Libra. That's what's up. Yo, that's crazy. Like, how has New York been ever since all this quarantine stuff is gone on? I heard, I don't know if young Pharaoh still lives in New York, but I know he's been in Buffalo and he moved there.
Yeah, so I mean it was interesting, this whole progression. Funny enough for me, I quit a job a week before the pandemic really hit. and then I ended up having to work within those first like 30 days, which was dope for me because I need to be out of here like outside anyway. And I got my own opinions on all of this, very closely related to young Pharaoh's opinions. But like outside of that, like watching everybody, it go from a complete civilized place to like a dead town. Those first 30 days of going to work and stuff, there was nobody. And not in my whole life of living here have I ever seen the trains so dead. So it was an interesting vibe because like going outside and feeling how either everyone was scared or there's just people, you can feel the awakening, basically. You can feel like everyone's confusion and you can feel everyone's psychotic breaks. Like,
right.
For real. I call freaking 2021 the year of the psychotic break because I feel like next year is when people are really going to like
reach their
go through the souls. Like, so it's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen in New York.
They'll finally reach my level of crazy.
Yeah.
All the crazy people be like, finally, y'all took forever to get on our level. Crazy. And they'll be like, we get it now. And we'll be like, too late. The world is over.
Yeah.
But don't you hate when people wait until the end of the world to finally get it?
Yeah, that's what I want to ask you. I'm like, how's your apocalypse going? Because this is what it is. Like, we hit the apocalypse already. I don't understand why no one wants to accept this as a fact. Nothing's going back.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I'll definitely. It was weird as hell to see the strip just empty. Like, no, it just felt like, oh, it's going down. Like, and now it's starting to be a little bit more populated here and there. But like, seriously, that's just wild. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited for the next chapter. And your moon's about to get all that Aqua download. So congratulations on stepping into your Saturn return. So you're definitely born 91.
Yeah, I'm born 91. I'm kind of scared though. I'm scared of this Pluto on my moon stuff. I remember, I don't know. I'm just scared.
Yeah. You say your moon 0 degrees too?
My moon is 2 and Saturn is 0. So Saturn 0 on my moon, But it's fun. Yeah. And then the topic of like divine timing and having that like Saturn presence for so long. Yeah, for me, it definitely felt limiting in the beginning, but then I understood somewhere down the line that I was severely being protected, especially when all the, like diving deep into conspiracies and coming out that whole of like, oh, now I see why I couldn't play out like my Sagittarius rising capabilities and why I wasn't noticed and why I had even Chiron on Leo to like subdue my voice. Like my voice was super subdued and that's what, but I guess it was just like a double thing. Like the good thing about it is it kept me in touch with the other voices and like with understanding telepathy and really getting super deep of like how to not just talk to your guides, but how to really successfully talk to other people, like real time.
Like telepathically too.
Yeah, exactly. Telepathically, like straight up. And how do you like send messages and how do you believe those downloads that you receive and practices? But it's intense.
Well, you made me aware of telepathic dialogue that I didn't even know was happening until now. So I think it's important to kind of address how maybe in most cases it happens unconsciously. Because I don't doubt for a second that we do have a very powerful telepathic connection. And I think that's lit. I think that's why I've always felt like Gemini is like hearing thoughts, but Libra is the ability to like direct thoughts. Mm-hmm. And then Aquarius is like the mind of like what you can say or whatnot. But that was awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's dope.
Yeah,
I know. That's what's up. Wow. Yeah, that awakening's about to be extraordinary for you. Have fun. Have fun.
Oh yeah. No excitement really, but like it's there somewhere. Yeah, so much fun.
Right. All right then. So I love how you said you got into art. Mm-hmm. Could you elaborate more on what do you mean? Like, which is once again very truly Libra. It's amazing how you're stepping into that archetype, or you. What's that like? I mean, what art exactly?
So I come to terms with understanding that I'm a conceptual artist. So I bring a lot of, I know we're here in New York, right? So here it is. So I'm a conceptual artist. I do a lot of things. I'm across the board. I started with painting and getting into like the fine arts. I went to an art school for all of high school, and then in the last few years I got into metalsmithing too. So I do also jewelry. And so the real story goes into how did I graduate my art with my spiritual practice. Because it's always been there. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I also ended up going to school for psychology and wanting to like, because the part of my purpose for sure is the crystal children and really helping restructure the education system. Like that's like one of the bigger things that I'm here to do. And it's not till now that I realized how soon it was coming for me, because I didn't realize that it was going to happen this soon. And in my gut, I thought this was going to take place when I was like in my 50s and my 60s. We were really going to see the restructuring. But of course, we're seeing it now, right? South Node Sag, so dope. So my whole name, Nicole Crystal Rasul, right? My middle name is Crystal, and my last name is Rasul for in Arabic. And what'd you say?
Where is it from? Where are you from?
So my parents are Caribbean, and they're just Trini, right? So yeah,
Trinidad.
So
okay.
Caribbean, even though nobody knows, which is also interesting. And this is why this story is interesting though, because I kind of feel like I look like what everybody's gonna look like in the future. Like this is kind of all the mishmash of like all of the cultures. I'm like, this is kind of what we're all blending into. Hopefully not completely, but we'll find out. But so my middle name, Crystal, my last name, Arabic, which is Rasul for messengers or prophet in the Quran, right? And the interesting about that is it wasn't until 9/11 that broke me into that story. So, because also I was in New York and I saw it. And since my family is Muslim, even though they're not big on beliefs or practicing at all.
Word.
At all. But it still had to play out in my life where once that happened, I paid attention now to the fact of like, all right, I'm born into this religion. Nobody likes Muslims. We're all terrorists. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah. Like what does
especially
this
in New York.
Especially in New York, exactly, because it happened right there. We all saw it with our eyes, literally from my elementary school, saw it that morning out the window, like crazy shit. Yeah. So that was an eye opener. I think for anybody in New York too who got the energy from that at the time, played a big role. So then I had conveniently a teacher at the time. She was Jewish. That was my 5th grade teacher, was Jewish out of all the other religions to me. And she was the person who taught me about my last name. So she was the one who was like, hey, like she had like just called me to the side of the class and was like, did you know your last name is like messenger or prophet, right? In the Quran. And I was like, no. I was like, nah, I had no idea. So then later down the line, that's all the way elementary school. I just was in my head, but I never registered it. I never thought about it. I didn't put a lot of thought, right? I was just living life, or trying to. And then later, it came back around when I started really feeling like I needed spirituality because of relationship shit. Obviously, I'm a Libra, so the relationship stuff kind of like bridged me into that, opened my art again. And then I started making jewelry because I started buying crystals for myself. I was like, whatever, like my middle name is Crystal. Seems like something I could do. Like at first I started doing it for myself for healing. And then I was like, well, I guess I have the crystal messenger thing going on because Nicole also means French for the. So it was always a funny parallel with that too. And going back
to really?
Yeah, so I mean, Nicole means winner, right, in French. So I kind of deemed myself the crystal messenger because it was like winning crystal messenger. I was like, whatever. I guess
you said banner.
Banner? No.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
Nicole in French means winner. Just like
victory. Winner. Okay. Oh, like victory. Like victory. Yeah. Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, so when
you are the crystal messenger.
That's what I'm saying, and this is why it's interesting. Going back to the telepathy and stuff, it's not that like, because I've never really, the only time I talk to you telepathically is when I jump into like your lives and like I'm there. Then I'm like naturally having the conversation, right? It's the aqua moon. So I'm naturally just having a conversation back to what you're saying or whatever. And then you'll end up either saying stuff on point or answering the question or whatever. Or I'll jump in.
Awesome.
Yeah, like right on the question. So it's pretty dope, right? Because it was like I wasn't really intentionally doing all the work to be like, all right, this is exactly what I want to happen. It was just one of those things that I didn't have an expectation on, and I just put it out there. And I was like, all right, gauging my own telepathic like practice and like giving myself the guideline of like when I reach this place, I'm like graduating my own telepathy, right? So even when other people do it, like when you're practicing telepathy for anyone, you give yourself those kinds of goals and guidelines to be like, okay, I'm going to talk to this person, and then this person, I'm asking for that sign or that whatever. And then eventually, if you really let go of time, which time doesn't, Saturn moon, so I feel time, but divine time really matters. If you really put it into the hands of the planets, then they'll do the work, but the work just has to be done according to like how open you are and whatnot. And then bringing that all back to art, it's like, yeah, so now I am into jewelry. I heavily want to get into all of my art, but business has also taken the precedence over my life. And I don't know I'm guessing that's just my Saturn return stuff. It's like the empire building of what I have to set up in order to safely do my art. Because art is such a sensitive thing. It's very spiritual, but at the same time, in order to like stay on and stay motivated, you got to get to like, you got to have a certain routine set up with yourself, and you got to have a certain like self-care. And so it's been for me like learning that self-care to match with my art so I can like keep that ball rolling. But other than that, I mean, like even tarot is an art, and even reading charts is art. And now like opening my space up to be available for others, especially during this pandemic, has been interesting because I've seen things now just snowball, like more people needing help and more people like needing specific kinds of help too with like the new world and structuring their own businesses. And like a lot of people are coming out of the word work now who have these amazing radical ideas of what the future really looks like, and they're the ones who really need the support like from all of us. We're really actually just helping each other essentially. So that's dope. But
sounds like the new age. I think that's what's really dope about Libra too. Like y'all bring art to everything. You can make an art out of any of it. Art, yeah, which is dope, which is lit. Wow, that's really awesome too to decode your name like that. And I feel like that's been a very deep process of the Capricorn transit, just like getting to really know you at an ultimate level. So yeah, that's really dope. I want to ask you like what brought you on your spiritual path, but I feel like you just answered that like twice.
Kind of a no, right? Good question, because
right.
Those stuff was like my I guess life path of finding out who I am, but my exact spiritual path of getting into the work and like becoming a light worker was of course through the stupid ass twin flame journey. That at the end of the day is, how am I gonna say this? I feel like this 144 or whoever came down here to do this, to explore that twin flame, right? The one thing to know that is important is that no one that was preaching about the twin flame stuff at the time actually knew what they were talking about, because they were going through at the same time as everybody else. No one was actually ahead of another. That's why all of a sudden we're all coming to terms with like, maybe it didn't mean as much as we thought. Maybe we fantasized too much.
Right. Oh my God, that's so true. That's facts.
And yeah, and then at the end of the day, it's like, okay, most of the people who were a part of those, if you couldn't transcend that twin flame into a soulmate, really, then you actually, it's done. It's really done, and you do have to move on. But it's the sake of the mission. Remember, the twin flame journey was always about mission. So now that we've all found each other, because that was the bigger thing. The other thing is like, and this is something I had told one of my friends like a long time ago. So like, if we're all facets of the same diamond in this twin flame journey or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Well, then we're all faces of the same body of whatever 5D consciousness we're trying to give back to the world. So that was what really brought me to the spiritual work, because then I had channeled out like a half of, like, I have this written book called The Secrets to Loving and Fucking, right? And it's basically like the
The
real
secret
energy,
what?
the secrets to loving and fucking, right?
Oh,
So marketing title. But like going through like the real energetics of sex and the real energetics of like, all right, finding yourself within a partnership. Because a lot of people go, well, you got to find yourself before you get into a relationship. But the truth is, we're constantly in relationships. Like no matter what, all business relationships are relationships.
yeah.
Our relationship to our mom, our relationship to our brother, our friends, or whatever. Even the dog or the pencil or like my tarot deck. That's a relationship. So at the end of the day, if I am diving into all of my relationships as all messages from God and messages that I'm getting back from this God source, then we can actually rewire the whole structure of relationships on the planet, which is so crucial to do as we're stepping into this new education reform. Because like even the relationship between teacher and student is so jarring. Like there's no teacher and student really. Like we are all doing that for each other. So how do we break up
The
that?
teacher is a student is a teacher, right?
Yeah. And then in the future of education, like seeing, so one of my clients actually, one of my tarot clients is
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say teaching is learning and learning is teaching. My bad.
Yeah, teaching is learning and learning is teaching. And that's the whole thing. The real enlightened teacher understands that they're always learning. So they respect all the knowledge from the child because the child has like this way closer connection to the source, even though we do too as getting closer to death. I guess it's two parallel versions of getting connected. But you need both sides. Like if we understand that simple like duality and male and female, and we have that within each other and light and dark, then we have to respect the child as well. And a child could take a class as like an adult in the same class, and they should be able to not necessarily, if someone is older and wants to learn something, especially in this new age where everything we're learning now, we have to relearn. So everybody that's older has to relearn all the new things. Like there's just no other way to kind of go, unless we've been learning on our own, like, self-initiation wise with our guides and whatnot. That's a whole other story.
Right.
But yeah,
That's awesome. What's it been like? Because I know you're about to get abducted with your the mothership you ordered is gonna come and take you. You're gonna be like, bye, losers. So I get it. So like, what's it like? What being down here and connecting and collecting information for the alien fleet that you have. No, I'm just joking. But one thing that I really do appreciate about you is how practically and easily you break down like connecting with guides and just dealing with these celestial energies, because that could definitely be like a block for people. But it's cool when you can make it, you don't make it into something more like wooey than it has to be. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty dope. I really can't wait. We definitely have to do another talk after we see Saturn and Jupiter go over, right, and see how much is like evolved within you, because you're already on it now, which is awesome. And outside of that, like, that's just wild. I'm still tripping out that you stay in New York. That's really dope.
Yeah, for real. I mean, according to the aliens, right? So I definitely always had this thing where I was like, oh, okay, we are all being broadcasted onto other networks in the universe, right? For sure. I wholeheartedly believe it. And I have put this to the test. It's kind of like Hunger Games, right? You know, in Hunger Games where you get sponsors and they're outside watching. So like Earth is Hunger Games. Earth is Hunger Games, and we're here surviving for our life, right? Cool. Well, if we're cool enough, right? So it doesn't matter what followers you have in this realm on the earthly plane. It really matters how much followers you got out there. Because if you got a lot of followers, you can ask for something and they're gonna send it to you. Like, seriously.
That's so true. There are some people whose charts I'll be reading. I was like, if we were in the spiritual realm, you would be a celebrity right now. Like, this is wild. And I'll be feeling all honored. Like, thank you for ordering this reading. Like, this is such a huge deal. And I love everything you just said right now. Like, that was both beautiful and accurate. And you know, this is probably being broadcasted on the God Tube right now, and you never know. So yeah, it's dope because I feel like all the Sag risings and Aqua risings, like now that humanity has no choice but to awaken to this, it's like you're starting to see everyone finally get on y'all level and not kind of like alien. I mean, I'm sure they'll still alienate y'all, but not really alienate. Now they're coming. Now they know how to come to y'all for advice because they recognize it.
Yeah, now we're trying to alienate ourselves again. We're like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Like, wait, how do I build these borders again? Because I thought I was breaking them down for a reason. Now I gotta put them back up.
Right. I remember seeing you on. Shout out to Talia in the chat. I remember seeing you on Talia's show. I was like, oh wow, that was awesome. Yeah. It's like I was a little jealous too. There's no reason for me to be jealous. So I was like, oh snap, that's what's up.
You gotta come on to the Mooney Woman. Talia, the Mooney Woman, we're all like, we do these like 2 times a month ritual, but it's fun, right? So the point is we're bringing like the fun back and the lightness to it, and the whole thing is the ritual. We be twerking on there, we be doing all types of crazy shit. It's fun.
Y'all have amazing chemistry together.
Yeah. It's like an open mic for sorcerers and liches and everybody. It's just like a place for you to opt in for free, and you can watch. If you don't feel comfortable, you can leave type of vibe, and you just come in and you really just express, because that is Age of Aquarius, right? So we're all like in the baby steps of learning how to express. So no one is completely 100% on it with their full expression coming into this new age. I do feel like we're all getting like the final allowances, because it's true. Like even how you put it in terms sometimes, that like some people have just been turned off on purpose, but it's really true. Like people really have to be turned off, because if they weren't, the kind of wave they would have created for themselves would have just been dangerous. It just straight up would have put them in harm. So it's like, okay, reeling that down, even as kids, right? Because like kids aren't safe on this planet at all. Like obviously save the children hashtag, but like they're just not safe. And it's like, okay, how do we now like really take that power back? And it's through that self-expression, that's all. And experimenting and playing around with this Gemini North Node, like we get that chance to not solidify ourselves to one thing, which is beautiful for the first time in a very long time, because we've been forced programmed to pick your career, pick your start. And now it's like, no, well, none of that applies. So what are you going to do now?
True. Super true. I can appreciate now, and you really helped me see this. I can appreciate how the Moon in Aqua really understands like what this new age is about, and the next step too, which is the dopest thing about all you that have Saturn in Aqua. Like y'all are really gonna give us, like, bridge us our next step. And I really think the world is gonna reject y'all first, and then they're gonna realize, oh wait, we need this, and then it's just gonna be like boom. But hopefully you don't go through that rejection in a bad way.
I'll go through my own. We'll see. I mean, there's no way Pluto, Saturn return with Pluto going into it, sliding through, and then it's like my 3rd house. So let's see how that works. I feel like there will be like either the big death of expression, which I've been feeling this whole time, and the rebirth of that. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm a little scared, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm containing it.
All right, let's play the 3 questions game. I feel like I want to make sure I'm not missing something, but we could. All right, I'm sure you're aware of the rules. We can start with you.
Yes, I am. Okay. Me ask a question, right? Okay.
Right.
All right, so just for selfish purposes, I do want to know, in the beginning of your though, moon, till now, what's the major differences, or like how much? Just what does it feel like? Does it feel lighter? Does it feel worse? What's going on?
I think it's a little bit different because Jupiter and Saturn are also crip walking on my moon too. So I feel like I'm being jumped by galactic forces. But it's weird. I never thought I'd ever say this in my life, but I feel like I'm dying, and it feels more incredible than it's ever felt ever. Like I never thought the process of dying would feel so incredible, which is interesting.
So you're going through that DMT burst at death, like right now, like
so much so that I got linked to someone who has DMT pens. Fear no agent. That's facts. That's facts. King K, that's facts too. But other than that, yeah. So like, I'm in a position.
like.
Oh shit! I didn't even know you had the chat up. Damn, that's crazy. They were like, "Can she see this?" Oh, oops.
Scorpio, Mike, you can't. We can't. I'm done.
I didn't even know you seen the chat. That's crazy. All right, that's cool. That's cool. I ain't even play. I ain't even tripping. It's all good. But yeah, I'm so glad you asked that question because I definitely do feel like I'm awakening for sure. I feel like I understand evil too at a whole nother level, and it's just taught me patience because I want to rush this process, but it's like it's all happening naturally, and I'm grateful for that. I'll say that for sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna I'm gonna ask the question that I retired, but I'm curious. What are your 3 favorite signs, and what 3 signs give you the most challenge?
So I thought about this for a long time. Truthfully, I like all the signs that everybody dislikes. So I really do love Virgos, like honestly. Like I so love them. And I know I'm gonna like change the whole algorithm of like how people answer this because everybody hates the Virgos. I love Virgos. Like I really.
I'm glad you peeped. That's
maybe it's because my Venus, maybe it's because I don't know, but I do like their attention to detail, and I can really go over all the things I want to do with the Virgos, and they're the only ones who are going to criticize me, and I actually really love criticism. So if I don't get criticism, I'm waiting, and I'm just like, and then I get upset because it's like, you gotta not like something about this. Like, what is it that you don't like? Please tell me. So definitely Virgos. So let's see. Yes, Geminis are on my list because
yes.
because of the fact that I am the Libra Aquarius moon, right? And my 7th house is Gemini. So being a Sagittarius, I can't help it. Like I need that energy. A lot of my friends or business partners too have big Gemini energy. So it's like, yeah. So, just having that last say or that last bit of information, the one piece of information that like I don't have. That's what Gemini's give me. So I do love Geminis for that. Yes, this is my top 3. And good question. What's the last one? Oh my God. This one changes. And then
Solomon said, if you love Aquarius, he's shooting like Curry.
Okay, good to know. I got like all my friends too in my head right now. Like, if you don't say this sign, and if you don't say this sign, and I'm like, fuck, bro, get out of here. like, what is the other sign that I really appreciate? To be honest, I'm gonna have to say Sagittarius now too. I have developed a love for the Sag energy because it's one of the energies that can successfully give me space and successfully just be just as hype when I'm there. Like, and really match the energy when I need it, but then disappear. Like, so
right. That's hilarious.
I absolutely need that. But those are my 3.
Okay. That's dope. I know it's all good. See, you're so you're so amazingly Libra that it just shines from you, because you did the first three, but you're not gonna say the three that challenges you. You're like, oh no, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that part.
You said that? I really didn't hear that.
No, it's all good. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't doubt you didn't hear that, because I feel like the Libra part of you blocked it out your ears. Like, I don't want to say the size I don't like. That's amazing.
No, I'll answer it. This one's gonna be faster. Okay. Hate love, right? Because this is the hate love part of me, right?
Right.
Yes. Now the Libra disclaimer. I do love all of y'all. I really do. But Scorpio is gonna be a god. That's my best friend, by the way. So I have a best friend like double Scorpio, Sun, Moon, 7th house Scorpio, like.
Right.
And
that's just like me with Pisces. Yeah. They're my best friends, but they can be on the list too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's my best friend energy. It's my 12th house, right? I love it. Like, I love the intensity, the depth. Like, I love all that. They're the ones who my whole life I've never felt crazy around. Because my Scorpio older sister, those are the ones that I could kind of talk about, like, the crazy shit that I'm seeing or whatever. And they're just kind of like, I kind of go through that too, because I'll bring them the words that they're missing. So it just works. So I love them for that. But they just give me headaches, because it's like, I just am way too attached, bro. Like, I'm just way too detached. So it's like, it's caused problems, but it's also been my favorite hate love sign, because of the fact that I've had to work on my emotions so hard with other like Scorpio energies, for real. All right, what else? Capricorns, I love Capricorns. My North Node is there. I absolutely love them, but I have not got, like, I always just want to fight male Capricorns. Like, I don't, like,
it's that square.
Really, it is.
They're coming for y'all for some reason. I don't know why. It's crazy.
Always, because it's the Capricorns that will be the one to listen to me. I tell them what it is. They listen. They're like, no. They're the first ones to be like, no. And then 2 weeks later, they're like, wait, Nicole, like what you said, like, yeah, you're kind of right. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are you dead ass? Are you dead ass? Like, I can't.
Wow. That's amazing.
And okay, this one might come off. No. All right. Let me.
All the mutable.
So Capricorn. Capricorn, Scorpio, and I don't have too much other Libra energy in my life. I don't know if it's because of my Mars on there, or like, I don't know what it is, but I don't actually have any other Libras that I'm close to. Like, I can get along with Libra risings, love them. Libra suns, I'm like, it's either we talking or we have nothing to say. And I don't know why. Like, I love my sign, but at the same time, other Libras, for some reason, we don't always click. So it's like, okay, maybe I got my own shit to work through. I don't know. I love all the Libras in the chat, though. Love all y'all.
That's what's up. I love your New York accent too. It's good.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. So my question for you. So I look at like anxiety and excitement as kind of like the same thing, or the same sides of like the same coin, basically different sides. And do you like, all right, this is my question. Mm-hmm. Since this whole thing has started, and have you felt more anxiety through this apocalypse or less? Or is it excitement? Or how do you feel about anxiety and excitement? I mean, that's a loaded question.
Fascinating question. No, I like how you prefaced it with the anxiety and the anxiousness, because or the excitement, because this year has put me in so much peace, because it's like, holy shit, this is actually happening. Like, this is everything that we've been preparing to happen. And so, like, coming into it knowing that this was going to happen is filling me with so much excitement. But that excitement, I didn't realize until you asked now, is anxiety, because I'm hella excited. It's like, oh shit, let's get. But I mean, there's also more anxiety because the psychic attack is higher than it's ever been, in response to my excitement as well, and like just my energy. So that adds even more to the anxiety, which I just convert into more excitement, which converts into more anxiety. So yeah, I mean, it's a dope. I think this question is way more relevant than I'm even aware right now. So
Mhm.
thank you for asking that. But yeah, it's definitely been amazing year. And that kind of leads me into this next question I was gonna ask, as far as what do you predict 2021 is gonna be like?
Okay.
Not even predict. Not even predict. What do you know 2021 is gonna be like? What do you know? Because you already know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but I'll say this. Like I said, I named next year the year of the psychotic break. I really feel like we're gonna see more schizophrenia cases, more, hopefully though, and this is my disclaimer to anyone with those kinds of things going on, right? Don't get too caught up in the system of it, and don't get on too many meds. Like it's going to be a heavy year for suppressing those people, but at the same time, they're going to be coming out. So we're just going to see it more. I feel like next year is the real anarchy vibe that we've been looking for this year that we couldn't actually tap into. Like
It's
this
gonna be
year,
organized.
yeah, exactly. We're gonna get more. I mean, yeah, people are gonna get more organized, and people are gonna have different plans. Like I feel like this year was just sitting for all of us. The whole collective had to sit down to, do that real intense shadow work. So the shadow work is gonna make some people lose their minds, but next year we're really gonna see those people who don't have souls. Like it's gonna be super obvious, and it's also gonna be scary because for the people that I feel like have the spiritual awareness, right? Well, like you said before, we're going to be the ones that are kind of leading the whole parade, or creating the shelters for these people that are coming out with these issues now, especially in like quantum leaping, right? If we're going to talk about quantum leaping and time jumping and stuff like that, I definitely play around with that. I think next year people start to see their actual timeline shift in ways that they've never seen before. So the ways that some of us who've been on this have already noticed, like you can slow down time a little, you can speed up time. But next year is that real, I'll leave the light, bro. This is my 11th house. Yeah, next year is that real like break where people
I feel like
are,
the laugh is timed perfectly
yeah,
too.
literally, that's what it is. Like that's what it is, right? Because it's gonna be like bursts of high excitement and high like togetherness, but then at the same time we're finally gonna see, like, people think this year we've seen people's true colors, but next year we really really see people's true colors, because everyone can't escape it anymore. Like whatever train you're on is the train you're on. All the trains are moving fast now, timeline wise. So in order to jump next year, you have to also speed up and like accelerate. So our like DNA being going through this shift, this funnel of time, right, for the rest of this year into January, we're gonna get stripped more. So yeah, if you have spiritual awareness, you're good. You're just gonna come out on the other side, finally letting go of money issues. Money issues are one of the big ones. I think next year is like big letting go of money issues and redoing that for all the people that are technically on the bottom, who've been born with those like survivor mentalities from our parents and etc. That's going to change a lot too. So whether, and I don't want to talk about the money system in general, right? Whether, no matter what way that goes, it's just not going to matter, because we're learning now the currency and the value behind people as currency instead of actual like physical currency.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see how people switch up, because this is also like the break of the new corporate world, right? And I think that's what a lot of us, North Node Capricorns and Aquas and a few others are here to kind of do, and breaking that new corporate world, because we're still going to have it. We're still going to have the working world, but how are people going to be working together, and how much transparency are we going to have in business? Those are the only businesses that are going to survive, the ones with true transparency between people. But
Right.
let's see.
You're right. No, that's totally true. And it's just gonna happen very fast. I mean, it's gonna happen at once. I forgot to mention, when we started this, the sun just entered 0 degrees Scorpio, and I'm going through my lunar return right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's awesome. Thank you.
Interesting. Okay. Is it my turn? Right? It's my turn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, last question. Is the interesting question. Let's see. How do I phrase it? Because I feel like on a soul level, right? Messages for you wise, and even when it comes to like relationships and whatnot, even though interesting, we just left Libra season. Now we're heading into Scorpio, so it's about to get real. But and this whole Scorpio season is about to get bucky, but whatever. So according to relationships, what are the 3 signs, like the sun, moon, rising, that you feel like you would want to attract now, and like why?
Shoot, after seeing you, I'm trying to attract Libra Sun, Sag Rising, Aqua Moon. Like, I was like, damn, I'm feeling her swag too, Solomon Lord. I was like, damn, maybe this is what I want in my life. It's fire.
Never know.
Right. And do you mean just in terms of like what I'm doing and like where that's really a good question.
Like what sun, moon, rising do you feel like, because there's a few ways to look at it, but I feel like for you, just once again channeling, right? The way it's changed or whatever you're about to embark upon, especially because that hermit energy and that like real isolation has been there to bridge your own masculine and feminine, right? So like to really bridge that so that you now encompass the whole understanding of how to play out both roles in attracting. And I do feel like in this next like stage that you're going to be attracting in a different way. Like you do have to be more feminine about it and be and to let people really kind of show you who they are and play those telepathy games. That's even why I'm bringing it up. Like I feel like that's even why I'm here, like having to give you that message too, of like, all right, with people that you want to talk to and people that you want to get to know, to really make yourself journal and make yourself like put that down on paper and really ask questions and ask direct questions and see who answers, because the people who answer your questions are more important to like getting closer to that whatever soul partner it is that's meant for you.
That's so true. So you mean in terms, because like, and that's kind of crazy, because I felt that what I needed was the Capricorn energy and the Scorpio energy, and I realized I was more attracted to the Sag Cap Scorpio energy in a lustful way. I felt like that was really completing me. But I'm gonna keep it a buck. Now I really feel it's the Aqua, because my 3 favorite signs are Libra, Sag, and Aqua. So I thought that was really interesting to kind of open up to, and then also shout out to Virgo too, but I never really thought about that because I'm very open about. I feel like I might think I know, but then I can learn from another sign. But I'm gonna go with Libra Sun, Sag Rising, Aquaman.
Okay, nice.
I go with that. All right, so here I'm gonna ask my last question. I'll be right back.
Okay. What up, guys? Yes, to the Aqua Moons.
Right. Will you be my girlfriend to the end? Will you be my girlfriend? Cause you got it in the bag and I like your swag.
Oh.
Had to let you know we could go. Yeah, I had to put the glasses on. Shoot my shot.
That was perfect. I did not expect that. I heard the music in the back. I was like, you about to set the mood?
Right. But my real question, well, I'll shoot my shot after this talk. But my real question is, what? Because I just sense really strongly with you, like you really realized your abilities and your potential. So like, what do you feel is like your trademark superpower? I'm guessing it might be telepathy, but
Um, yes, telepathy, but also quantum jumping. Why? Because I actually got into that way before telepathy. And it's been something like super low key that has always been a part of my life. Like that was something I got into before astrology. I found this really old dude on YouTube. I don't know. And he was like talking and he was teaching quantum leaping in college. Like, and he was talking about it on YouTube. And I'll try to find him, but he was breaking it down, and I had gotten into Bashar at the time too and watched like every single Bashar episode ever, right? So going from those two people, I got introduced into that. And at the time, I was in Florida, kind of trapped out there because I only lived out there for 7 months, but I just made some weird shift and I was like, all right, let me go to Florida, try to change my life because I couldn't take it anymore, right? I just couldn't take it. And then like everything pulled me back. But in order to get back, I had to jump through different kinds of, in quantum, jumping is so subtle, right? The way he taught it was through like this meditative experience that you basically meet your doppelganger through like a guided meditation. You open a door, you talk to them, you ask them questions. He put it to the test in his life. Like he asked his students, what do you want to see me do that you think I can't do? And he's like an older man. And they were like, well, become a famous photographer or a famous painter. So he did his quantum leaping and he started getting the downloads and having the conversations of what to do with art, like in the moment. And I have channeled a lot of stuff like that, like even this, right? So so this is how I read on this like blank natal chart, but I came up with that randomly. So I just didn't want to read in any way that was already being read, right? It just kind of, I just didn't want to do obviously Aquamoon, right? I just wanted to be different or whatever. So I was like thinking one day and it came to me and I was like, well, what if because I am so into astrology now, what if I like pull cards, like literally pull cards over this and then allow them to fall, right? Into a house. So now if I know the person's astrology, I can bridge their sun, moon, rising in my head with a planetary spread because I do 7 cards for each planet. And then falling into what house, as in just where they are in their life. So it really kind of goes deep as hell. But even channeling that was like a quantum leap for me because I was trying to call that in like my business. And I think with my North Node in Capricorn, with the Uranus Neptune, that's the only way I was going to do it. Was it if I leaped to the universe or the timeline that was going to allow me to like do it. If that makes sense. Because I was surrounded by so many people that weren't on it. And as I started doing that work, I started noticing like my friends opening up more. And that was weird, right? Because some of them were never on that type of thinking. And I thought even at one point that I was gonna have to let a lot of people go and just move on, right? But then I started to do this work and I started to even do this work with like my Scorpio friend. We would pretend we're jumping in like rabbit holes together, like out of nowhere. And shit started changing, shit started happening, and even people's mentalities shift. So when you're quantum leaping, you're really just changing your perspective. I think that's what this Gemini North Node is teaching a lot of people too, that your perspective, it has a lot to do with where you're shifting and how you shift, how fast you shift, and then how everybody else responds. Nothing could change in your life, but that doesn't mean you didn't shift because like in every second, everything is getting rearranged, all those atoms and whatnot. So really, that is what I feel like even brought me here, like, and to telepathy, to really explore that with even a person like who can like reciprocate that fully, and multiple people who can now reciprocate it fully. So that's dope. Like finding my tribe through quantum jumping for real.
That's awesome. Could you tell me if this is an example of quantum jumping? When we did that ceremony with the timeline leap,
my neighbor is not my neighbor anymore. And I don't mean like my neighbor isn't acting the same. Someone who lived down like a few doors from me, we kind of met and I realized he's a producer. And so I kind of helped him like fix his table and stuff. And so we were going to keep in touch. And then after we did the ceremony, it's a totally different person. It's not even the same person. And I'm like, did someone used to live there? And he was like, nope. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, I didn't fucking switch timelines. And the dude who was a Pisces. So I thought that was even crazier because now it's like the Pisces never existed.
So you mean the whole person changed? Not
The
even
whole person changed, yo. Like, and now I asked, did anyone move out recently? And it's like, no. And it's like, what is going on here? This is crazy. I mean, I wasn't even surprised actually, because like at this point we've seen so many crazy synchronicities, but like,
yeah, hell fucking yeah, that's a quantum jump if I ever heard one myself. I mean, who knows what kind of information you're gonna find, right? Because then I feel like when things, so there's this show on Amazon, I think.
My apologies. I was gonna say, I even tried to call him and he doesn't pick up. The guy who gave me his number,
shit.
he's just like he doesn't exist. And were you gonna talk about Undone?
Yes, I was talking about Undone. Yes, right. So even with Undone, which my Aquarius friend put me onto that show this year, I never heard about it until my Aquarius friend showed me. And she's also a Gemini rising too, so she was going through similar things. And yeah, hell yeah. So that's some classic Undone, because you can, because it's so subtle, only you're gonna know, right? But what will happen too is like you can assimilate back into the timeline where things start to seemingly make sense. Like maybe somebody has a story 3 months down the line about what happened, but it's only because you like now assimilated into the timeline, like you're in it more. So now things are rearranging to your old story to make sense. But that little gap of like when things don't make sense, that part we have to like honor, because that's the part to show us that something did shift. It's the part that doesn't make sense. When things make sense again, then it's like, all right, whatever. But now you've already manifested that part where things don't make sense. You get to really manifest it. You get to be like, all right, well, who do I want to call in? What do I need? You need a producer friend, like, you know what I mean? You need somebody in the music industry, like, what do you need? And you get to like really be direct when you're having those like little time lapse moments, because that's kind of what it is. It's like a little lapse. And yeah, it's not gonna make sense to you, but you're the one like going through the experience. So at the end of the day, you went through it. You can't take that away.
That's so awesome. Like it gave me a new meaning. Like it gave me a new way to think about quantum leaping. So that's dope that you're a specialist in it. I feel like if anyone would be, it'd be not just the Aqua Moon, but Saturn may even give the authority to like control the quantum leap process. So that's dope. That's super dope. All right. Well, I know I have your Instagram and website in the description box below. What services do you offer people and how can people reach you?
Okay, I have a few things. First of all, yes, find me on Instagram and Razy. I do sessions with people, so I do hour sessions or half an hour sessions. I also have the intro to my book, The Secrets to Loving and Fucking, on like just the intro for $3.33.
That's your book?
Yes, it's something I wrote, right? So I'm releasing it in a very like new age way. I'm gonna do just PDFs online. I'm not gonna go through publishing with anybody. I also am on a platform that I'm helping build with two other people, a Gemini and Aquarius, and it's called selfsync.co. And it is where we're just putting a bunch of audio files. So that's where I'm going to release the audio to the book. And it just contains a bunch of secrets, right? Like the first secret is seeing is seduction. So seeing is seduction and what that really means. And
I'm gonna need to copy your book ASAP.
Yeah, well, I'll send you all this stuff. I'll let you go with stuff. And so you can find that at www.thecrystalmessenger.com. That's where you could book me as well. For my sessions, they're live on Zoom. I have Pisces 4th house, so when I work on my bed like this in my home, it's real shit. And the Moonual, so I'm a part of the Moonual with Sarah and Talia in the chart in the chat if they're still here. And you can find that on Instagram too at the Moonual. We do rituals every 2 times a month for the new and the full. And we also just have other content. We want to do a lot more entertainment stuff as well. So, we'll see what happens with that. And then there's a retreat coming up in January, at the end of January. I'm planning a retreat. I'm going to announce it now. The information will be all coming out shortly. It's called Fuck That Shit and Heal. And
that's what's up. All right.
Fuck That Shit and Heal. We're going to be doing ancestral ceremonial healing with Temazcal. We're gonna do Temazcal. It's gonna be in Mexico. It's gonna be with local guides, local people, and it's all like people of color led. So that's gonna be a good time. Keep looking out for stuff. Just follow me on Instagram if you just want to stay updated. And then the last thing is, if you're in New York, I also help my roommate. I curates art shows, so I'm doing a lot of like the behind the scenes with and in the field work. And we're having a Sounds of the Underground event and at Canal on November 13th. So if you have art or if you're a musician too, and you want to join the open mic, we're doing the open mic style. You get to take home your tips. If you have art, you can contact me or the curator, Spicy Mommy, and you can put up your art on the walls. It's gonna be dope. We've been curating events for a while now out here. So if you are here, just come meet people in your tribe and get that exposure because it helps. But yes, other than that, that's all that I got in the lineup for the next few months.
Awesome. Yeah, 2021, 2022 is, I hate to say it's going to be your year, but it's definitely going to be dope for y'all.
Yeah, man.
That's what's up.
I feel it. And then, plans is to, and then for whatever reason, I have been feeling though I have to go to the West Coast. I do. I feel that. So I'm on like a lease now and I'm still in New York, but I feel like this is my last league of New York. And I finally solidified myself here. And now I'm going to have to leave and like go to the other side. So that's the future. But, the future is like tomorrow.
That's what's up. Do you have any final word of insight or advice for everybody?
I want to let everyone know that people are peepholes. People are peepholes into seeing yourself and understanding everything around you. So don't take none of your relationships for granted and put in the work to work through those shadows, right? Especially if you feel compelled right now to stick to a relationship that is horrible for you. There's something there. Look at it as a people and realize that you're not attached to that person or place or image or fantasy. Just everybody is a tool, but you are a tool for somebody else too, right? So remember that. I know a lot of people are going through like lots of heart and like will stuff. I could feel that. So for that, yes, people are peoples. Look into them and let them look straight out of you.
Wow. Well, thank you for your wisdom and your beauty. And thank you everyone for tuning in. And until the psychotic break that is next year, peace out, one and all.